Hi, and welcome to Geek Girls Do, where two geek girls show you how to do stuff.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Chrissy. Welcome to today's adventure.
Today we're going to show you how to decoupage.
Now, decoupage is pretty awesome because it's an inexpensive way to beautify your home.
The first thing we're going to do is teach you some very basic steps of decoupaging. Then later, Chris will show you how to use those steps to make decorative boxes. What you need to do is choose what surface you're going to decoupage on. Cardboard and wood work really well, but I'm going to use some cheap artist canvas. What we're going to do is cover this canvas with comic books and create decorative wall art. Yes, this is one I made a few weeks ago that has Futurama characters. You can choose any comic book, any series that you enjoy, and decorate your room for cheap. Now, once you've picked out your surface, you're going to need some comic books. You can choose anything you like, but we do have a few guidelines. First, don't use the special collector's edition with the foil cover. You're going to regret it because we're going to rip those up. I would recommend using some from a comic book store like these. They're only 25 cents. I've read them quickly, and now I have no regrets whatsoever tearing them up so that you will never be able to figure out what they once were. Yes, it's a good choice to me. Once you've gotten your comic books and your surface, you're going to need a few more supplies. Most important will be your glue. I like to use Mod Podge, but Elmer's glue diluted with a little water will also do the trick. You're also going to need something to put your glue on with. I like to use these foam paintbrushes. They're pretty cheap on sale. They go for about $14 for $1. So they're not that bad to use. And if you're like me and you don't clean out your paintbrushes, you can just toss them in the trash and not feel that bad afterwards. You're also going to need one of my favorite office supplies, the scissors. This is how you're going to destroy your precious comic books. You can rip it out if it feels more cathartic to you, but you'll get more specific straight lines if you use the scissors. That is assuming you know how to use the scissors and you can cut a straight line. I'm not very good at that personally. You're also going to want some newspaper. This can also be used for decoupaging purposes, even though we're going to be using comic books today. I'm just going to use it to cover my surface because I don't really want to have to clean glue up from everywhere and get it out of the carpet later. Once you've got your area set up, you're ready to start gluing. Now, I recommend going through your comic books and taking out a few full-size sheets of paper that we're going to lay down as a first layer to prevent there from being big white gaps underneath your pictures. I'm using older comic books. The ones from the early 90s I have found work really well, earlier ones than that as well, because they're from lighter weight, cheaper paper. The newer papers tend to be too shiny and the glue doesn't stick as well. You get more air bubbles. You can use newer brands, but you're going to have a little bit more trouble. So, once you've got things cut out, you can start gluing the first layer. You're going to take your brush, dip it into your glue. You want to get a fair amount, but don't go too heavy, and start to place a layer onto your canvas. You want to cover the entire area that the sheet is going to be on so that everything will stick in every corner. You don't want a single corner just popping up later. You want to also make sure the glue goes down smoothly and that there's not some spots with big chunks of glue because that will also cause air bubbles. So just smooth this on over. Alright, and once you've done that, you can take your piece of paper, set it over where you want it, and smooth it down. Once you've got your first layer nice and smooth and dry, you can start to add additional images that you've cut out. Keep in mind, if you end up not liking one of the comics you glued on, you can always just add on another layer. The steps I'm going to show you can be repeated over and over again until you get the perfect collection of images. So, place your surface down again, and we're just going to repeat those original steps. Dab some glue onto your brush, and place it on top of the initial comics. Once you've got it glued on, you can take your comic and place it once more on top of the other layers. You can use the end of another brush to to smooth it down even more in case you're having trouble with air bubbles. From there, you just add additional images underneath and around your pictures until you've created an assemblage of images that you like. Once all of these layers are on, you're going to add one more layer of glue just to give your images an extra shine and to make sure that all of the comics will stay glue. And that's it. That's all you have to do to decoupage.
Start, of course, by dabbing your Mod Podge onto the surface. Like that. Since Mod Podge is a glue, stick that right on there. And then tap it down so that you don't have any air bubbles. Because air bubbles are not your friends. They will make the end product look really gross. So you just go around the outside of the container doing the first layer. I usually do at least 2 layers just for the sake of covering all the blank spots that might occur, like there, and more to come. So just keep blotting on the Mod Podge and placing down the bits of paper. Alright, now that you got your first layer done, it's important to let it dry completely, because if the under Mod Podge is still wet while you do the second layer, it's going to create more air bubbles and more problems for you. So make sure you give it about, I'd say, half hour to dry. And then you can come back to it and do the second layer. Alright, so this is our final product. As you can see, it's pretty smoothed over. The cap is not as good as I'd like it, but you can always add more to decoupage, so it's not a big deal. And it's nice and smooth. This is the product of real interior designer's work, unlike the English major. So thanks for watching our first episode adventure of Geek Girls Do.
Feel free to add in the comments any craft ideas you'd like us to butcher and show to the world.
Yep. Or any comments, questions, whatever you have about today's adventure. Keep in mind that we will answer all of those with sarcasm and disdain. Or at least I will.
I might just look at you silently.
Yep. So from me, Claire, and the boys, have a great night.